So I was I'm doing good. And
Good.
and and as to I don't know what you thought about Snow White and Pinocchio when you because you weren't here for Snow White and Pinocchio when I covered those.
I love them both.
Oh,
They're
nice
class
job. So
that I
now
watch.
we'll get into some real ambitious territory. Let me just pull up what I have here in the book. Of course, I didn't really bother taking notes because I was rather so busy with all the Super Bowl and app development stuffs, and now I just gonna have to read a couple of entries from the book to try to summarize as best I can. So
Yeah, yeah, Jordan. Yeah, feeling a bit under the weather lately. So if anyone needs me, I may get busy
oh man,
eating my food.
oh no, are you sick? Well,
Yeah, a bit of a head cold, man. I know it when I feel it.
oh man.
It's a
Well,
bummer. Sorry, Sarah.
okay, so let's get right to it. So Walt, after Snow White, he was in production on Pinocchio, trying to figure out how to get his way around Bambi all of a sudden, and he was launching his most ambitious film, tentatively titled The Concert Feature, which in Walt's original plan was to have been released after Bambi and Pinocchio. Of course, that didn't go out as planned, so indeed, in a single typical day in February, Walt was discussing the scene in which Pinocchio learns to play, listening to recordings for the concert feature, watching live action had been shot for Pinocchio, and attending a story meeting on the shorts, adding all that was Walt's dedicated to his family. And of course, let me
Yeah, you're talking a lot, bunch of things. Can you please cut to the chase?
yeah. So Walt met this guy named Leopold Stokowski, who was dining alone in the Hollywood restaurant, and invited him to his table. Well, already knew Stokowski, one of the most recognizable figures of high culture, with his long, wild hair and his tabloid romances. He had visited the Disney studio in 1934 and maintained an occasional correspondence with Walt. As Stokowski later told it over dinner that night, Walt discussed a project he was considering, a musical short of Paul Duka's symphonic scherzo La Pretty Sorcière, or The Sorcerer's Apprentice, about a powerful wizard in whose absence a curious pupil uses the wizard's magical hat and scepter with unfortunate results. By one account, Stokowski offered to conduct a score for nothing. Another, he began excapitating on a dream of his own to make an anime feature set to classical music. Either way, collaboration began. So, well, at this time, Mickey was a little, I don't know, he was on a, he wasn't like in the hot spot as much as the other characters were, like the Snow White, Pinocchio, all the Donald Duck, Goofy, Minnie Mouse, or the cow character, Clara Clock, that those other people that he was gathered up in his Disney cinematic universe. Um, Mickey seemed almost secondary compared to what he was doing with all this feature stuff. So Walt decided he was going to try a little something. What if what if in the place in the Sorcerer's Apprentice he put our beloved mouse hero Mickey in there? So I believe what happened is that Fred Moore, whose very own likeness ended up translating to Lampwick in Pinocchio, um, Fred Moore redesigned Mickey so that he would be more childlike and have a certain degree of innocence. And Fred Moore made Mickey the Mickey that he currently is today. So
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
a true Mickey with like the more realistic eyes instead of like classic eyes.
yeah, yep, same principle. So instead of like 70 minutes or something like that, this feature was gonna be a little over 2 hours with an intermission. So And it was actually gonna be some true color live action now, probably for the first time in any Disney movie. And if you count the dinosaur sequence, probably the first ever on-screen kill in a Disney movie. Like, I mean, this is still back in they couldn't show any blood. This was still back in the days when
Wait, did you
his
want me to break out the
office,
dinosaur toys?
um, something like that. But this is back in the days when the Hayes office censored stuff that went into movies and TV shows and all that stuff. And then that started to
Wasn't
break
television
down
back then.
in the 60s. So Walt still had to comply with the Hayes office on this part. So that's why you don't really see blood when you are seeing dinosaurs fight.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So so I think what happened with the technical sequences with live action is that they must have had just one, they might have shot this just as the soundstage was completed at the studio to at least have any kind of live action in there. And they must have borrowed a Technicolor camera that must have just finished its use from one of the Technicolor productions, either The Wizard of Oz or Gone with the Wind or something like that. I mean, this,
Continue.
yeah. So I'm just trying to make a couple of guesses. And Mickey was cuter, and yeah, that's okay. I, well, this was his appeal held to him. Oh, picked him with oh. Once Stokowski had known the picture world was especially energized, all steamed up as he put in a letter to Gregory Dixon, an RKO publicity executive who had happened to meet Stokowski on a train and discuss the project with him. We would all like very much to have the opportunity of working with him on this picture and, if possible, get started on it immediately. And he put the finest men in the plant, the colormen to down to animators on the sorcerer. I am greatly enthused over the idea and believe the union of Stokowski and his music together with the best of our medium would be the means of a great success and should lead to a new style of motion picture presentation. Almost as if he was trying to
Slow down on the
bring
speech,
back the
Jordan.
silent film. Hang on, he conducted the Philadelphia Orchestra and had other stuff. Hang on, I should begin there. I'm rapidly moved on. Just trying to mosey my way through the book. Okay. Another time, speaking of the concept feature, he and stored, we're not making an ordinary cartoon. I feel we got the wrong slant on this stuff, then bluntly added what would have been Harry see even a few years earlier. I don't believe in this gag stuff, and he was aspiring to something much higher than gags, much higher than the cinema fantasy of Snow White and Pinocchio, or the realism of Bambi. Extending his hand to Walt Stokowski, who carefully cultivated the romantic image of a long-haired artiste for popular consumption, was trying to forge a union between the classical and the mass as a way of popularizing not only classical music, but also, and not incidentally, himself. So is that concept feature story mean what whose was the Sorcerer's Apprentice
So did they like which way did it go? Did they animate the animations and then the conductor made the music match the animations, or did they have the songs and then the
usually
animators?
they end up recording the
deal.
music first and then they do the
Yeah.
animation afterward to try to get
They call it pre-scored music.
Yeah.
Pre-scored music. Oh, okay. I was wondering which direction it went.
Hang on.
Oh.
Oh man.
I definitely liked the ones better with the little bit of storyline, like the little mini stories and plot, than I did the ones that just had like moving pictures, like landscape pictures and stuff. It was still pretty, but I thought that the other ones were more entertaining.
Yeah, so you're like more into like the storyline than the art experts behind cinema.
I think
Well,
so.
well, it's just now the anime film was being taken to levels not seen before. I believe on a TV program, Walt once said, well, always made the claim that they actually filmed a mud bath, just trying to figure out a way to boil it up to create the convincing effects of the magma coming out
Well,
to create the Earth's formation. And and the and in some ways that must have studied I don't know what they had to do, but hang on, and we had no, yeah, but on a funeral much better. Oh, okay, I'm listening to like music. No. Oh, here's something interesting. A work of Debussy's that Walt called Fate. He wanted to Wagner's Ring of the Nibelungen, which one staff member suggested, might be used for a new children's story called The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, you know, Lord of the Rings guy.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so they made an odd parody of epitome of the classical artist and the epitome of the commercial artist, which may have been part of the personal attraction just as it was part of the artistic partnership.
Yeah, slow down the speech again.
The main reason why Walt was so enthusiastic about the concept feature was that he felt he was blazing trails again. The effect was liberating. Having already expressed his antagonism towards gags, he was now expressing antagonism toward the idea of narrative itself. Not everything had to connect, he instructed his storymen. Not everything had to be worked out in story terms. I know everybody has a tendency to have story, he told a meeting on the concept feature, but I keep telling myself that this is different. We're presenting music, which meant that the score wouldn't just embellish the visuals, but would be absolutely co-equal to them. I would like to have this thing kind of weave itself together and complete itself, but not have a plot. As another mean, describing Admiral, a recent package of 8 unrelated shorts that the studio was releasing that September, a kind of test run for the concert feature. He told his crew that the story annoys you. So that's well. Here's a little bit of trivia that I want to give you out. Walt was now such a prominent artist by this point that that he was able to get models to craft certain characters within these segments, and for the express figure of Satan himself, he got none other than Bela Lugosi to model for the Satan.
Yeah, don't they call that character Chernabog?
Well, Bela Lugosi is Dracula.
Jordan. Yeah, don't they call that character Chernabog?
Chernabog, yeah. So, but I can tell you, when that thing moves, oh boy, is it scary, because Bela Lugosi had this such great style of acting that went into modeling this satanic winged character that would be on Bald Mountain, where all the minions would gather up and start to dance and make folly.
Hey, Jordan, can we save the opinions for after your at bridge, whatever?
Oh, well, the Nutcracker Suite was harder in part because he had several sections. At first, Walt had the idea of fading in from Stokowski leading his orchestra to his leading an orchestra of bugs in a kind of overture. That would lead into a march processional, the dance of the sugar plum fairy with dewdrops, and a Russian dance with turtles that would segue into the Chinese dance featuring lizards with flowers on their heads look like Chinese hats, who perform before a Mandarin frog, and the Arab dance using little animals. The finale would be a flower ballet following the blossoms through the seasons. As Walt described it, a ballerina comes out, a graceful, beautiful girl, and she puts a little sex into the the thing. When she wells up, you see the
And
pancake
Jordan, that is an interesting trivia there, but probably getting a little bit more sidebarred than tidbit.
I'm just trying to find selections of a book. Okay. The Light of Spring, which parts of it would actually make it into John Williams' score of Star Wars, where C-3PO and R2-D2 are in the desert. And
Jordan, you're sidebarring again.
well, the Light of Spring, well, it was pretty self-explanatory by the host who was explaining all this stuff in between each segment. They were talking about how they wanted, even though Leopold Stokowski, no, not that, Tchaikovsky, for some reason, I didn't really know too much about him disliking the Nutcracker Suite, but boy, oh boy, did after Fantasia suddenly became popular, they started using the Nutcracker Suite in so many Christmas commercials and holiday commercials. I can tell you that. I've heard that tune so many times.
That happened after Fantasia?
This happened after Fantasia came out, or at least became popular. I'm just going to get through the story. Of course, some boom, boom. Walt was
They sounded like a bass drum there.
That's because the segments of life going into the volcano, something like that last wow, I feel is a volcano, yet it's on land. I get that wow on land, but we can look out on the water before this and see water spouts. At the end, he said there's a sort of stop, pulsating like an old steam engine. He caught himself so worked up as he listened that he blurted. Stravinsky will say, "I didn't know I wrote that music."
That's funny.
So obviously, there's a lot of information here to try to conduct, but hang on, let me try to go to the Wikipedia page to try to get a little more summarization since I was short on time.
How about you just, go ahead to like the immediate result of the movie with like the reception and criticism and whatnot?
Well, let me just tell you this. Fantasia was such an odd movie for its time, that there was like only one theater that could really play it in the immersive stereo sound that Walt wanted the audience to feel immersed into the concert hall. Of course, at my place, I didn't have a big, awesome sound system. It was just a little TV from the TV speaker.
Anyhow,
it didn't resonate with the public at first. I think what happened was the people that might have gone into this movie, and they probably didn't know what the heck Fantasia was, and then they were probably seeing something from Walt Disney, and then they end up seeing a segment of music with no words and just animation to dancing. You would go in there, and I think they will be like, "What in the world is this? What am I watching?" I mean, is it Walt trying to bring back the silent film or something like that? It just kind of feels like a silent film to me. I kind of remember back in the day when silent films were big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just trying to make it, artsy. I mean, you said he was, yeah.
Public wasn't really used to
on there.
Yeah, but public wasn't really used to such a ambitious artistic feature at that time. So
At least in
yeah, must have been one of those oddball things.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if it could have been almost as if 2001 A Space Odyssey might have been like this, could have been the same thing, but thanks to the 60s revolution, it turned out to be a big success. One of the all-time sci-fi greats. And Fantasia itself.
Just coming back into the flick out of curiosity and trying to remember what actually happened.
Fantasia itself, through re-releases, it would also gain certain respect and notoriety among the people who actually study film and art and other stuff. Even the paintings themselves, some frames from the film would actually be presented in art galleries across the world, which is a very amazing achievement. Gains a certain degree of new appreciation for what Walt was attempting to do with Fantasia. And I honestly believe that he is just an awesome to see what he's able to do in this amazing film, because I mean that the legendary moment where Mickey puts on the hat and where Mickey is just conjuring up the waves and such to try to almost imagine himself being a lead ruler, a god or something like that. It is one of the most iconic Disney moments out there. And just a brief mention, an actual shot of the of Mickey putting on the hat in this Fantasia sequence ended up in a Super Bowl spot, them dedicating Disney's 100th anniversary. And
really? I was the Super Bowl that day.
Yeah, and believe it or not, who should make the Super Bowl ad but my friend who gave me the tour of the studio, Eric Goldberg. And I was just amazed. Dad was amazed that mom texted, or at least made a post about it, and I texted Eric saying, "Congratulations, Eric, you made the Super Bowl." And he said, "Yeah, I knew nothing about it until this morning. Thanks so much. And I promise I'll reply to your email soon." Okay, looking forward to hearing from you soon, I say, and that's what I said.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Of course, it's
do you have anything else to continue with?
Incredible moments that Mickey being the magic. It gives you the feeling that this is Disney magic that we are conjuring up here, and it's incredible. It's not Fantasia. Not like what you could say.
Is that the end of your speech, Jordan?
Fantasia isn't like what you would say is a kids movie or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of advanced for
kids movie.
Kind of
yeah, like I said, yeah, that's very artsy. I mean, well, you have to see some death and criticism alike.
Yeah,
that like notification at the beginning on Disney Plus.
It won't be the first time we encounter it. It won't be the last.
I mean, probably, but you think it could have been you think that kind of disclaimer would have been countered like a long time back, when we were starting this. I mean, why are we like seeing the footage now? I mean, is this like an update on the app that I'm not aware of?
Well, I can tell you that there are stories that the part with the centaurs might have had some censoring over the years. I think what happened is Disney wasn't really too fond of nakedness or sex in their animated films, so they decided to.
Yeah, the Beethoven sequence that you're talking about. I mean, they were definitely putting a lot like the classical Greek mythology in me, but I mean, even those kinds of physique techniques would have gone all the way back to the Renaissance.
True.
Well, it's pretty. Well, it does give you an idea of what Greek mythology is. The praising of the structure of the human body. Even if you look at it, there's almost the round chubbiness of the cherubs and the sleek, lanky characters of the centaurs, the
Mm.
the unicorns and Pegasus. One probably the first times I really see anyone really sees unicorns or Pegasi depicted in animation or maybe
sure.
any movie.
With the Greek mythology lore.
Oh, it was the same principle, but this is almost as if sometimes at one point you might be watching a My Little Pony episode. A little bit. Not quite.
Yeah, they had like the cute little horses in that sequence. So
Yep. Same principle.
Okay, should we let you rest, Sarah?
Nah. Yeah, but I mean, I was kind of hoping for like better organization since we're talking about a feature that was longer than the average Disney length.
Well, I appreciate the summary that you gave us, Jordan. I think what book is that from?
Walt Disney, Triumph of the American Imagination. You can find it on archive.org.
Oh, nice. Is that the one you've read from before, or is it a different?
That's the one I got notes from before.
Gotcha.
I'm giving you a link.
Nice.
I'd give us a link. I mean, can't you find this in a library or something?
Maybe both.
It was on Archive. It was free on Archive. I don't know if it's gonna be at a library. I don't know if it's at a library. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know. I was finding freaking Ollie's book in the library back in college.
Oh, nice. So
you can always look.
I can always look. So Fantasia being such an artistic feature, an ambitious one, and one that somehow gives you the feeling of what the images that come up in your head when the music plays in a big concert hall didn't exactly resonate with audiences at first, though
it just said that
it does gain recognizability years later, because I feel like this is just one of Walt Disney's great animated achievements.
Yeah, and he also had like ideas ahead of his time too. I mean,
way ahead of his time.
When he was talking about making a constant work in progress for what Fantasia was supposed to be. I mean, yeah, I think this is what we in this century would call a custom playlist.
A playlist, yep. Like what you get on Spotify.
True. Yeah, he's definitely ahead of his time. It's worth our discussion time in our movie review club.
Yep. So let me next week, not only does the circus come to town, but an entirely different kind of circus forms outside of the studio, making this little episode one of the darkest in the Disney studio history, and as relatively young history.
Yeah, Jordan will explain about it next week. I mean, we'll be watching Vintage Dumbo, okay?
Okay.
Vintage Dumbo, the animated Dumbo.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it was good to talk to you guys. I hope you feel better, Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah, better. Get there, check to see how my mom's doing.
Sounds good. Tell her I said hello. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.